and unless you got something extra special, Jeff, we probably will start on page 6, and as we come up to something you've got on your agenda, we'll deal with it, or how do you?
Yeah, no, I mean, we go probably with with new people and stuff, we just go down through
Right.
line items. I had buildings and doors, and we had 8,700. That was kind of scheduled in there to redo the bathroom, which we didn't get the bathroom redone this year, so I wanted to leave that the same.
I'm sorry.
So should we make
Oh,
that?
that's under the building. I got you.
Yeah.
Here, I
I
got
was
it.
gonna
Yep,
leave
yep,
that,
yep,
the 8,700 in there, Jim.
Is that still good? Should we increase it a bit for?
Probably wouldn't hurt to make it 10, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, I was fine with, changing it, but I just at least wanted to leave that number.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jeff. And that's for what?
To redo the bathroom.
I got you. Okay.
The bathroom is in
Rough shape.
Very.
It's really.
At least it's got a door now.
So we got new
Yeah.
septic, that's put in, and now, but you gotta jackhammer up the floor to get a new toilet in there. The chloride tanks we can leave as 50.
Are we good with 100 for the fire extinguisher service? Is that a constant every year, or?
That's 200 in there, and I would
Yeah.
leave that as the 200.
Okay.
There wasn't any much I was gonna change there, sorry, I skipped that.
Yeah.
The tanks, leave that, the chloride tanks. Office supplies, I think Shauna helped me out there, so we spent like 260. I don't know if you wanna make that number 250, and Shauna got us some stuff for maybe rounded at 200. That's fine with me.
You have so many
Those are
supplies now,
supplies.
you don't need
Yeah.
new ones, right? Those,
Didn't use them all.
yeah, I couldn't have used them all.
That's because the printer broke.
Yeah.
I don't even know how old this printer is, so that could be coming down the pike.
Is that, should we put is there a line item for that? Because these are
No, I think
supplies.
that would fall under office equipment, but
Okay,
if you ask it to print by pushing a button, it doesn't print very clearly, but if you ask it to do it through the computer, it prints real clearly.
Well, so you know how to do it right.
Trying to make copies of time cards.
that's doesn't sound like a good sign to me.
Probably on its
Just
way
saying.
out.
Yeah,
Hand tools and that stuff I had put in on my notes. I was gonna put that at 6,000 instead of 4. I think we can get away with that number.
6 or 4?
So we're going up.
go.
Well,
to
we
6.
spent for near 8. We budgeted 4.
Right.
I think we can get away at 6.
Okay.
So there's still some slack you gotta pick up there.
That, we had 2 trucks broke in the last week, and it was at the point where I had to pull my truck in the garage so that we could get tools enough to fix them.
Yeah,
Still, so there's still work to be done there, but the heating contract services, looks like we spent 0, but I'd leave that probably in there. Electricity's kind of an unknown, so I'd leave that at 1,700, I guess.
No, you better go more than that.
You wanna go up with that then?
It's 7%. Was
Like
it 5 or 7?
I would go with 7.
You wanna go to $2,000 and,
Yeah, that'll be a little higher, but yeah,
I mean,
1850.
up to you guys.
well, 7% be $70 on first 1,000.
And 50, so 150.
Might be splitting here.
1850 is the
Yeah.
number.
Okay.
Fuel oil, I think probably, we should move that to like at least 4,500. That's about what we spent, or we can go a little higher than
Are you
that.
burning more wood there?
We're burning quite a bit more wood there this year. So this is all kind of under last year's heating thing,
Mhm.
but we're pretty much burning a bunch more wood, but, the building's not getting much more energy efficient as the years go by, so probably 4,500 would be.
Okay,
Why do I
4,500.
feel like 5,000? But
Yeah, I'm totally open to,
yeah.
did you want to go with a figure?
How do you feel about that, Denny? Or
tend to be conservative and we're, maybe I'm being a little bit,
Well, and at the end of this category, just so you know, from what we budgeted last year, we ended up with $6,042.52 left over. So I think if we get close in here, we're
yeah,
Let's go with
4,800, 44.
48.
Yeah, let's go 48.
Okay.
Okay, 48.
Everybody knows December's been colder than normal.
Propane.
Yep.
I haven't been here this year, but that's for the little generator. Telephone, I don't know much about that. We had 800, we spent a little bit more.
So we're gonna leave the propane at 200.
I'd go 850 on the telephone.
Okay.
Why?
Cause that always goes up every year.
Oh,
Right.
The internet, we budgeted 12. Kim, I guess you probably have more input on that than,
It's $91 a month,
so leave it at 12, you think?
or whatever 95 is by.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Well,
1,200 gives us a
12.
little,
A little cushion there.
what are communications?
All radios and this, that, and the other thing, and all of our radios are pretty obsolete. And two pieces of equipment that we got this year don't even have radios yet, so can we leave that at 1,000?
Sure. Can you get a decent VHF installed in a truck for 1,000? Or is it smarter to carry around handhelds? Well, the handhelds
They
they're
don't
only
work very well.
3 or 4 watt, right?
The thing about it is they're coming out with all the new radios and stuff, and so I kind of been holding off because the radios that we have now are pretty obsolete. And like Denny, you used one when you went up on your moose hunt, your brothers, didn't you? And I can't think of the name of what it is, but
yeah, he called it a walkie-talkie, and he's in Weathersfield, Vermont,
Mm-hmm.
and I could talk to him all the way to the Canadian border.
Really?
Wow.
And how much was that?
Is this through satellites then? It must be,
Yeah.
because it's
Because
normal
it's
VHF is line of sight.
digital technology, and there's some guy in like Phil Scutney that's kind of got a franchise for it around, and my daughter's fiance is he's got a brother in Boston. He's like, I communicate with him like nothing. We have trouble sometimes reaching one another. We'll almost have to. I can hear somebody, but somebody else can't hear me, so we got to like relay.
How much do they
How
cost?
much
How much
now?
is one of those units
I
cost?
can call him and ask him tomorrow.
Is it about are they about $500 or more?
I'll bet they're 500 each, and
Yeah.
we got.
So
What are they called? I've got somebody who's interested in that.
I have to do a little bit of research too. I just know from talking with Denny and talking to Mark that they seem to be what everybody's got. It's a digital technology. It's updating.
There is an occasional dead spot. It's just like your Sirius radio. Every
Right.
once in a while, you'll run into
So
it.
it's satellite then?
Yeah, it's
Sounds
all
like.
I have a
satellite.
question though, so you've said you have 2 radios that have to go into each truck, right? And then do you need like a handheld radio too? I mean, is 1,000 enough?
We got a handheld radio that works right now, unless we make the decision to change everything over.
Yeah, if these things work so well, it seems to me that having one bolted down to a truck is silly. Why not just have everybody with a handheld?
I actually do like the ones bolted in the truck. You know what I mean? Just I don't know.
And they're not
You,
driving
you,
off
for, you,
forgetting
for,
them.
you forget it,
That's
or
true.
you don't take it.
Yeah, okay.
So we have a
And they're
An
out
error.
crawling around under the truck. And
Yeah.
lose it.
I think until we really come up with a thing that, I'm sure that we can.
So
update.
is 1,000 enough here?
I think for now. And
Okay,
after a day or so, if Danny and I get to talk to somebody, maybe before this
Got
number
it.
is totally finalized, we can maybe adjust that. If septic maintenance, that would let it get pumped if we needed to. I'd leave that at that. Engineering, I guess you never know, so it leaves that category open. Spill containment, I'd leave that where it is, leaves that category open.
that's just inspection around the tank, you've got that little,
But we got that, per
you
se,
know,
we
the
blow a
swimming
hose,
pool.
we blow a hose and we've got a couple of old containment kits right now, but
Oh,
probably
okay.
ought to replace them. It's more that aspect if you're
And the
out.
absorbent pads and stuff like
Absorbent
that.
pads and
Okay.
this, that, and the other things. That's kind of what that's about. And so then we'd be on the class 2 general, the street striping. I would leave that. I'm not sure what we'll do, but
$100 is a
well,
placeholder.
we're not gonna get
clearly.
much striping done for that, but it
Yeah.
keeps the category open.
Yeah,
And the guardrails 500, highway signs 250.
When you have the guardrails there, that means like if there's damage to a guardrail or like replacing a guardrail, what is that?
well, this is maintenance.
Oh, for
so-
me, I'm sorry,
yeah.
thank you. Alright,
Stuff gets boogered up throughout the
Alright.
course of the year. Bank run gravel and stone, I'd leave that. It just kind of, and then the crushed gravel and sure pack, it leaves that, kind of leaves that category in there and it leaves it open.
How can we not have spent any money on that stuff?
Well,
last
it's
year?
just, it's silly times of year, the way stuff's broken out, the way stuff's broken out. And I could show you down the road, like, class, we'll get to it, but like
Okay.
when we should have really been using sure pack, it got billed under a different category at the time of the year. And so I'm like, winter maintenance is, we're over on sure pack, and I'm scratching my head saying, I don't know. But all in all, just so you know, there was a pretty significant surplus. So, and these numbers that we're working with, if we went over in a spot, we definitely saved it in another spot. So in that whole category, we didn't spend $2,350 in that category. Road crew labor, we budgeted 80, we spent 77. I think Kim and I talked a little bit about it, and then there was a number of 80. I think we leave that there.
That includes overtime, does it?
No, there's
No,
another
so
category.
that's just straight.
That's just straight
Okay.
pay.
So what you've had me do in the past is, because you still have to talk about wage increases and whatever, is you have me take last year's number for the budget and just plug it into this year. And then you come back and decide what you're gonna do once you see where the numbers fly after this.
Right.
So that's all I did, was I copied
Mhm.
last year's budgets to wages.
Well, I quick figured in my head, if you figure 3% on the 80, that'd be 2,400, so that if you put 80
Gets
in
to
there. you're ready.
Well, in just some food for thought, Jason hasn't had his review, which he should have had. And I was gonna ask that the board bump him from 28 to 30. He's well worth the 30, and we're paying other guys a minimum of 35. So he should have had a review before now. So just factor that in mind when you're.
Is he okay?
He's actually very conscientious. He takes his section of road is his baby.
Mhm.
And he's there at 5:30 in the morning. And if I tell him to be there at 5, he's there at 4:30. If I tell him to leave, he can't remember, long term, but there isn't a thing I ask him to do that he is not willing to try. And he's done a great job plowing. I had no complaints on his route of plowing, so.
That's great.
So Jeff, can I ask you, the 2024 actual cost, 2024 was 44,600, and the 2025 cost is 77,000. What made the $33,000 difference there? Do we hire somebody else?
There was a
Yes.
difference of
Yeah.
employees.
We hired, but we also paid Almond for,
That wasn't out of
wasn't
that,
in there,
that wasn't out of that.
That's
So what the
that's a
board
different
decided
part.
to do last year
because they had to
was
give
this would
raises.
be a transition year, because. you
What,
would
this
be
year, what year?
25.
Okay.
Because you were looking to get a new road foreman that would be full-time, and you were looking for new people, and all that required training. And so they budgeted more to offset some of those unexpected, unusual expenses for salaries.
But it wasn't just the budget, it's also the expense, what was
actual,
spent,
yeah.
the actual spent.
Yeah.
Money
Yeah,
spent.
you know where a lot of it came into is they had to give out very significant raises to the old employees to be able to offer new employees. I'm gonna say that one employee went from $28 to $35
An hour.
in one fell swoop,
Oh, I gotcha.
because they were unable to,
Get new.
Get in
Not
these
unable to
because we weren't
hire.
offering it.
nobody was applying for the job, so they had to, so that's some of it.
Who's they? Us?
The select board, not you guys, but the select board finally made a decision. They weren't getting any responses
I gotcha.
at what
Okay.
they were gonna pay. And what they were having to offer was more than some of the people that were here for, so that's some of it. I
Mhm.
can't say that that's all of it.
Could be all of it.
But that was a. that was
But I mean,
a
they
big-
budget,
A
they-
big reset on our part.
Right, but you guys saw it. I mean, you said, look, we're gonna need 80, with what you guys talked about, you said you were gonna need 80,000. The voters passed it and you spent 77,000. So you guys saw it coming down the road. This isn't I'm not, 20,000, 30,000 over budget there. I'm right where the select board and the road.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was just asking what,
it's a
it
good
wasn't
question.
critical. I was just wondering what the difference was in
4 people
what we needed.
versus 3.
4
Okay.
versus 3.
Okay.
And how does that mean, does that
And I don't
also-
know that that's really the case, because the next category down, you go to road foreman. They budgeted 45,000 and they only paid 23. So I don't know that that fourth member was really it. So,
Well, yes and no, Jeff, because when she was saying 3, you had 2 ordinary workers and a road foreman. Now you got 3 ordinary workers and a road
Right.
foreman. It'll all balance out, but it was a, major raise when you add one person and give everybody raises. And right now, this health market for help hasn't cooled. And I'm not sure when it's going. I know one outfit that hired a guy for $35 an hour for one match and everything. Guy lasted 3 weeks, says, I'm done, and left.
Mhm.
And it wasn't because of work-related issues, he just,
and, it seems like at least one day a week, somebody calls out.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, under road foreman, I guess I kind of leave that up to you guys, because I probably shouldn't have any input on that.
Well, is the actual a reflection of the number of hours worked versus what we budgeted? Is that what we're,
I think that
Talking
has to
about-
be it.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going in and getting them doing stuff, so they were amounting to something, and then, so I didn't charge you for some of the hours that were there.
So you work more hours than this year?
I think
it's a habit, with road foreman, Holman did the same thing.
my wife gets after me, Jeff, you're not writing this down or that down, and anyway, things happen, but
How do you survive that, Jeff?
my wife asking me
No,
about
no,
it.
it's- I'm just sitting around this table, when she got after me, it was.
Yeah. Holiday pay there, I think you probably ought to bump that up to 4,000. By the looks of it.
Well, we're gonna fill that in when we get the numbers, right?
Right. we
Because
should
the
go
holiday
back and
pay, we know how
do- It's a
many.
percentage, right?
You know how many, and now you gotta figure it by the
You know that,
employees.
yeah, we're gonna
Pretty
figure out
close.
what the wages are, and we know how many days there
You got
are.
11,
Yeah.
so,
Same with
Yeah.
sick and vacation,
So we're gonna fill that in. Sick pay,
same thing, right? It's
well,
all-
no,
They'll all bump
sick
it.
pay is just when people get sick, but
Yeah, but isn't there a certain amount you have to budget based on what they get, like how many sick days they get and that sort of thing? Somebody used to do it.
yeah, but.
It's
Kim,
48 hours of sick pay automatically.
Right,
And so
and is it use it or
accrues.
lose it, or is it?
No, it goes into the sick bank.
Yeah.
And so whoever has anything left over that hasn't been used, I think at the end of the year, will charge it to the sick pay, but then move it over to the sick bank. And
Let me ask a question on that, the big picture. So if someone, let's say, uses 3 of their days and they bank the other ones, right?
yeah, so
Does
it's
that
like
continue to get banked as long as they work here, or
we
is there?
changed the policy last year so
Okay.
that they can accrue up to, I think, 30 days.
Okay,
And then they can't get further additions.
got it.
There
Thanks.
are, there's a little bit of a
There's
liability.
a ceiling,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's cause we had this thing with almond,
Oh,
just
yeah.
accruing basically a year's worth,
Yeah,
and we decided that.
we went
you
to
know,
this years
that's-
ago, it's just
I
not
had to put a stopgap in there.
You have
Yeah,
to.
yeah,
You
so
have to.
it's a use it or lose it, but we're,
perfect.
we're trying to be reasonable about it,
I
but
think it's great. That's-
yeah,
Well, I think at the end, if the guy's gonna lose it, he just says, give me the money.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna take a sick day off tomorrow because it's gonna storm and I know you guys are gonna take it away from me, so just cut me a check.
yeah, and that's. Then everybody stays current and it's fine, yeah. You don't,
Okay, so I guess we're down to overtime pay.
Overtime, looks like Kim, and it was in it, she's got it at 1350, I think I wouldn't mess with that. Yeah.
Moved it over.
Yeah, no, I see Kim, I'm,
You don't think it'll bump up? No, just leave it at 13.
well,
and then funeral leave, let's hope none of us need to use that, so, but we could leave it.
yeah,
Workers' comp, I don't know much about
I
that.
don't have the bill yet so when I get the bill,
so we'll fill that in.
yes,
What a question mark.
Yeah,
I'll follow up on that one.
Payroll taxes, we'll fill those in, right?
yeah, and
Yep,
Childcare payroll tax, can we fill that in?
it's a calculation once you decide on salaries.
Okay.
wages.
All of these are, yeah.
Retirement expense, another one that will be
Same thing.
filled in.
Yeah. Are we gonna do subtotal after this? And Kim, would it help you if we just, maybe we ought to just put numbers in
Yeah.
now to
Yes.
see where we are when we get done?
Should have
So,
moved those in.
so
based on
let's,
last year.
I just copied last year's.
Workman's comp, let's.
She's gonna copy last year's, she said. Okay.
well, workman's comp, how about 6,000? No,
Okay.
sorry, it's gonna be more. It's gonna be, what, 8,000?
Probably.
7,
Go for 8.
okay,
Payroll tax,
probably gonna be 9,
I
I think,
It was at 12 last year.
yeah,
I'd go for 10 because
okay.
you got raises going in there.
You said 10, sorry.
Childcare,
The childcare is like 0.044% against whatever their actuals are.
Okay, so
it's hardly
550?
anything. Sure.
retirement,
It
8.
runs 7.25%.
So 8 maybe.
It goes up.
Yeah, go for 8.
So here's my question on medical is based on what the monthly will be. And there's a small management fee. The question I had for you is on the healthcare reimbursement, that's based on deductibles. So the way I figured deductibles, if you paid 100%, it was 11,900 by 3 people and 1 person at 59,500. So I think we came up with about roughly 42,000. I took 60% of that and divided it by the 2 seasons. Do you wanna budget at 100% or do you wanna budget at 60%?
I took 60% because of what we did last year, right?
What,
what you
no,
just
I
said? I'm
did
sorry.
60% based on your decision to have higher deductibles this year
Oh,
and
right.
lower premiums. But do you wanna budget at 100%? Because that's your whole liability, or do you wanna budget at 60% because that's what our.
but we rarely go over 50% with that, at the end of the year.
I thought it was over 60, but regardless,
Yeah,
what do you want, how do you want to budget that is my question.
Maybe somewhere with a little cushion, maybe 70, 80. What do you guys?
I think we should have a little cushion.
yeah, how about
75.
75 or,
Alright,
Yeah.
I'll figure it at 75%.
Uniforms would go to 15.
Wait, say that again?
we're in uniform expense.
you know, skipped over healthcare account.
Yeah,
no,
reimbursement.
That's what-
Well, we decided that was
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah, you're just gonna-
75%,
Just gonna do with it.
so 1,500,
Makes sense.
I'd just do that number.
yeah, that's
Sounds
pretty
good.
good pitch,
Nothing goes down much.
yeah,
So you charge
1,500.
1,500?
yeah. Highway grant fees.
you're shooting at the dark there, you leave it at 2,000.
Should we make it
I
1,500?
don't know.
What is that for?
It's the grants that we get through.
No, but what's our expense for that?
Well,
Writing the
Wyndham Regional, I think, gets paid when they help us too. I mean, there's some.
Okay.
So
there's
it's
some
grant administration,
Kind of,
basically.
yeah.
That $13.50 is a fee we pay to the state to get our annual stormwater permit. And that's one
the
fee
stormwater
just to the
runoff.
state.
That's,
So why is that? Oh,
It
grant.
was budgeted at 2,000 perhaps because we thought there were other things. There's another category at the end of this for WRC grants and aid expense. We spent $750 roughly last year, so that's a separate category.
I don't think there's much you're gonna do about that expense.
No, I don't
Yeah,
think so.
how
I'm just
about
trying to figure.
1,500?
I think what's
Just
what's gonna happen is we're gonna go back and change some of these numbers along the way. Contract,
just as a placeholder, why don't we make it 1,500?
Sounds good.
That's
Everybody
right, that's
good
what
with
I
that? Contracted services.
Contracted services, that was,
Is that mowing?
no, that was, just different stuff we hired out, like trucking or, if we needed an excavator
stuff,
last
yeah.
year or some of that type of
Okay.
stuff, so. That right there, the 2,800 is, I spent that on some trucking of winter sand, but, I would think you could bring that down to 3,000, because we have the 10-wheeler this year and we're getting some sand closer.
What was the 15,000 budgeted for, or like, why was that?
Well, contracted services, if I need to hire a truck to haul sand, if I need to hire some.
I understand that, I'm just saying that was a big jump, wasn't it, like 15,000?
Last year, they spent 19,000.
Yeah, okay, but they budgeted 5, so they
Mhm.
jumped up last year and we tried to mimic that,
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
okay, got it.
And the excavator that we bought saved us some of that, and then the 10-wheeler saved us again. So that's where a little of that savings came in, Brian.
Okay, got it.
The dust control, I would put that in at 36 again. We
What
didn't
was-
use much the year before, but then this
Is
year.
that
it was-
sodium chloride and?
This year it was dusty as could be, so we
Yeah.
ended up using,
Yeah. 'Cause our
More
house
of it.
and all that.
but our tanks are full, but the tank doesn't go very far, so.
So I'm sorry, do you want it, 3,600 is what was spent this year, 2,500 was the budget.
Budget,
Do you
yeah.
want the 25 or the 36?
36.
Okay,
And you left contracted services at 15,000?
1,500.
3,000.
3,000, I'm sorry, Kim. Erosion control, here's where it comes in where we did a lot more ditching, and that basically is hay and seed. So I think that number probably should be 45. Conferences and workshops, I'm surprised Seth's training didn't show up in there. Maybe it's
It hit in the winter.
in winter one, Kim.
Yep, it's
Um,
under class 3 winter maintenance.
Should we put 500 in there?
Yeah, I think so. You never know when
We can always hope.
mileage reimbursement, nobody took any of that,
Yeah.
but 50 keeps the category open.
Back to streets.
And here's where we go to street striping. So this is like, we're in class 3 general maintenance now, then before we were in class 2 and we didn't.
Right.
So, you see what I'm saying about sometimes it's like,
Guardrails, highway signs.
so, I suspect this year, it sounds
Class
like
3 they're dirt roads, though, aren't they?
they are. So, I don't know, what'd we spend on that the year before, Brian? You were looking at it.
2520,
Yeah,
25, so
25.
$25.20.
no,
2,500.
$2,500.
So, anyway, we've got something, but I do think that we probably, we've got some street striping coming up. And maybe we'll get it in the right category,
Okay.
but I don't think it's a bad thing to have that number in there.
Timo, so you wanna keep it at
Want to make it
3,000?
1,500?
Or should we go back and increase the class 2 amount and reduce this? I mean,
Well, here's
really,
the
what's
thing, you're
street striping
really-
on class 3?
You're really, I mean, we obviously did some, so class 3, I mean, we didn't stripe a dirt road and we're saying we
Right.
spent 2,500, so.
You
I
strike
think
that
you're,
front. You strike
you
out
know,
the front.
at some point, you're
So
Gonna-
you-
24, you striped out the front. Lawrence Hill Road had to be
Fuller.
striped after it was paved. We
Lawrence
didn't
Hill.
do that.
Okay, but that's not a class 3 road.
Well, part of it is.
Part of it is.
Lawrence
Oh,
Hill
I
is class
see.
2 from
Oh,
100,
I
yeah,
just up
And then-
past Trout Club, and then it's class 3.
I got you.
I think you just leave it where it is, cause there's a potential that we're getting some state grant money for some tarring this year. So,
So leave street striping
I mean,
at 3,000.
Okay,
if you,
wanna
I
make
think
it
what's gonna,
1,500 or?
I think you leave it at 3, I think what's gonna happen is you're gonna get all said and done. And, you're gonna end up going back and moving some numbers up.
Down.
Highway signs, you never know.
Are we back to 500 for guardrails? Is that okay?
Yeah. Doesn't take much damage.
Yeah.
for a
Highway
guardrail.
signs, yeah,
I see the state
thousand
is
stuff.
running around replacing stop signs. Is that some new regulation or they just wasting a bunch of money?
They wouldn't do that, but, yeah, I'm not sure, Denny, what,
Cause I see them on Ludlow Corner the other day and then I see them out here by just above the playhouse in that white today.
well, they probably put a stop sign in that one-way street.
Right.
Yeah. So, I didn't know if there's some new regulation coming down that.
Nobody
have
said
to-
anything to me about it.
That's why I'm asking that.
Safety equipment, I think you gotta leave there,
At 1,000.
1,000. And here's where, we've got bank run gravel and stone budgeted at 7, we only spent 300. I would leave that there because there's another category we were overspent, but that's,
In the crushed gravel, sure, back in.
it's bank run gravel and stone is what it says.
Yeah,
I would leave that at the 7
okay.
and try to get stuff more in that category.
And then the crushed gravel sure pack.
So right there is where we get messed up. So if you had a bad mud season or something, you would eat up that 7,000 in no time, somewhere along the line. But I went over in this category right here. From 35, I spent 45, and which we knew we were gonna have to put some material on the road. So I wouldn't mind seeing that number moved up to 50. But that, I'll take some input on that.
Okay, I mean,
I think we neglected putting top coat on for quite a bit. But I'm open to suggestions there.
We'll leave it at 15 if we have to
yeah,
cut some place, we can chop 5 off. Chloride, 4,000.
Yeah, you can leave that the same. Cold patch,
I'm sorry, 5 or 4?
4, he said.
4, okay.
Cold patch, I might move that up to $400. We got some holes and that's not a lot. Culverts and headers. And we're gonna come across culverts and headers in another category too, but I would leave that at 5,000 in that category.
What about, that cider mill culvert that's,
I don't know, everybody was all tore up and concerned about that. I walked through it, I couldn't see much, and everybody was all concerned, and then they went in there and logged, and I don't know how many log trucks they put over that thing and never bothered it. I would hope for a state grant to help with that thing.
okay,
You're talking about the right-hand side of Cider Mill when you first,
no, Cider Mill, just as you go out through, there's a big arch culvert there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at some point, somebody says they saw that it was rumpled up a little bit, I don't know. And then they were concerned that they were gonna be doing logging out there and the log trucks wouldn't cross and this, that, and the other thing, and they went in there and logged it and dropped numerous
many loads.
Probably at least 100 loads of stuff over that, and it's still standing there
Yeah.
just quite fine. So I don't know that, but 5,000 in here, you probably would want to put 250,000 in there if you were going to tackle that. So
Can I just ask, I'm sorry, this is a really general question. Why is the maintenance divided between summer and winter?
the state aid,
Explain
And-
that.
well, we get the money we get from the state as state aid. They factored on a amount of money we spent, and I believe it's in the summer. So the amount of money we spent in the summer on roads, then they take that and they come up with a percentage. So when Mark Pickering's here right after town meeting, we'll really dig into that with him. But so there's one category that you're better off to spend more on, because then when it comes to state aid, and we get a check from you get a little bit more. But that's why it's broken out.
So there's state aid for summer road maintenance, but not for winter road maintenance? Is that what you're saying?
How they figure their calculation is how much we spent in the summer. So say it's 400,000 in the summer and it's 300,000 in the winter. They take it on 400,000. If they base it on 1%, you're going to end up with more money. And that's what it really boils down to in the short answer, Linda.
Ah, okay.
And is that based on what we budget or based on what we actualize? Like, based on what our actuals are?
I think it's what we actually spent. But a great guy to ask when he's here is Mark Pickering, will be here right after town meeting.
Yeah, Mark and Megan Brunk
Well,
show up.
And who are they?
They're V-Trans, our Mark is like a district manager or something.
and Megan is just under him, and good people. I mean, great people. And
Yeah,
let's hope that
and if, every time I have called them, they're super responsive.
Mhm,
I mean,
okay.
they're-
Megan will be there if we have a culvert. We had a culvert on Shawn Old that washed out. We discovered it like 7 o'clock in the morning, and by 8 o'clock she was there, looked it over and said, "Yeah, let's move forward." So
Yeah, okay, great.
Megan's very responsible and works with
And
him.
you think 5,000 is enough for the summer for the culverts and headers for the summer budget? Or do you think it's not enough? I mean, I don't know, I feel like we've talked a lot about culverts.
It's
So-
one of the two,
So we got,
I guarantee you.
yeah. So we,
I just
so
don't, yeah, I'm just curious.
I have enough 18-inch culverts on to do 3.5 road crossings, and I just, as I was looking at my budget, what I had left over, I just ordered another 160 feet of culvert for another category that we'll get to down the road that puts us about at the same money. So it's not just 5,000 on culverts. We're going to hit another category that's got culverts in it, but
Right.
we have a bunch of 2-foot culvert and a bunch of 3-foot culvert at the shop. So I'll leave it up to you guys if you want to move that number.
Leave it at 5.
What do you say?
I think we leave it at 5.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, filter fabric, I'd leave that alone. If you have to buy anything, it'll be that. Hot mix, we haven't bought any
Filter
this year.
fabric, this is what, filtering, what are we filtering here?
Oh, let's say we were gonna do what we need to do, some under drain under a section of muddy road. So you dig a trench, put the filter fabric in there, put your pipe and stone and then put it back over.
Got it.
And there's a bunch of them.
Just keeps the fines from getting
It
in
keeps the
under
fine
it
separated
and
from
pushing the whole thing up.
from the stone and
Yeah.
plugging the stone and this, that, and the other thing.
Okay,
And we have a bunch of that work that we could do, and Alman had gotten a bunch of pipe, but we hadn't gotten it in the ground at any point yet. Tool rental, I ended up renting a chipper for 2 days, and we did a bunch of stuff on Chester Mountain and stuff. So I would say that probably should be 1,200 just in case we have to rent something. The roadside mowing, I basically would say we can delete
Yeah, because we're,
because we're in charge of that now, and we'll be able to mow a couple times a year, and then we've actually used it some to cut back brush on the side. So that category can probably disappear.
and that's another reason that
Right, we gotta show you.
It goes to zero and disappears the next year.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
that's
we don't need to budget.
Because
we have a new piece, we have our own.
You have your own piece, and so
some of these things like
therefore that 19 grand
That's
is
great.
great this year.
roadside
We're
mowing,
we're
'cause now we've
saving
got a
that.
mower.
So
Yeah, got it.
It's gonna help all the other increases.
it does. It helps.
Yeah, that makes sense, Jim, thanks.
Trucking, John, trucking there, I believe that at 1,000, you just don't know. You know, you get a flood goes through and that number's gonna change drastically. WRC grant,
And I would leave it
yeah,
1,500.
you never know.
This is including the dues, not including the grants. For Wyndham Regional.
And
So all this labor and such, the next category, we're gonna leave the same until we
Yeah.
make a decision.
Yeah.
until you make a decision, but you can see it then again there. I didn't charge for, there was 45 budgeted, but I was reasonable with you. Holiday pay, you guys are gonna make that. Sick, vacation. Vacation, you may want to adjust that number some.
Because we have
Yeah.
employees.
Yeah, all those will fill in.
Look at what you're given
Yeah.
and fill that out, but I know,
So I'm sorry, like all of these will fill in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, just those
Just like
three.
the clerk, the
And
holiday
then the
sick pay.
vacation pay,
Uh,
that was a one-time deal with Almond, right?
With almond, that was the payout
Yes.
over
So
time.
that was because we had to pay out his
Yeah.
existing stuff.
Yeah.
The other point, Jeff and I discussed today was that the fund, the sick bank is down to
I'm dying right now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Me too.
where's the thermostat?
Is
90
there a
over window.
thermostat?
I'll turn it in.
Yeah. But Kim and I had a little conversation today about this vacation pay accrued due to retirement.
Right. Is that what they were just saying was a one-time shot?
No, that was, well, yes and no. But
Wait, what are you
that
talking
could happen to you again. And so Kim and I discussed today, Kim can give you the numbers better than I can. We have a certain amount in there, but it's nowhere near enough to cover our liabilities.
I'm sorry, where are we, Jeff, here? Are we on overtime pay or vacation pay?
Vacation pay accrued due to retirement. So
We bank sick pay that's
Right.
unused.
Right.
They now have up to 30 days, but you do have, one individual who currently has about $20,000 that if they were to leave today, you would be paying out. The fund ended the year, actually with 13,000 in it. So our discussion was, do you go ahead and start budgeting to replenish so you can,
This is huge, right?
meet,
there's a bunch of stuff in there, but
about? Sorry, so the sick bank had 13,000 left over.
the sick bank right now only has 13 grand in it, but your total liability for it, including all current numbers, is 28,000.
So we're,
But that's only gonna hit when people leave, right?
But if
right,
they
but do you
leave,
start putting, we don't wanna get, so that
So we
other,
add a little bit more each year.
well, that 15,000 that we just had to pay out to Almond was something we got caught not putting any money aside with. So that, Kim and I had that discussion is do we, because our liability right now is 27,000 and we've got, I think you said 13, Kim,
13,000.
rough around. So do you leave that 15, do you put 15 in there for this year and get a little money in that bank?
we have a
Can
certain
can
amount
you
of
bank
years.
that, Kim, if we budgeted Can you,
She
Well,
has
that's
it,
what it would be intended for. I would just
okay,
move it over because I probably wouldn't do it until later when we have more money, but
sure,
we have a liability to
Yeah.
have to pay that. What we have never really accounted for was the growth in the hourly rates. And we've never accounted for payroll taxes in that sick bank. We've just moved whatever was left and put it in the sick bank. So if you were to bring it back up to the 28 or the 30,000, then you would have that wiggle room on salaries increasing and payroll.
Let's leave 15 in there.
that just gets, I mean, you could put 15 in
Get
this
us
year,
partway
and then
there this
when you
year.
get caught up, you can adjust that number
Yeah.
to your liability.
Don't
If you
take the
don't
whole
do-
step at once.
Yeah.
If you don't do something, you're gonna be,
right, so you,
So 15.
so 15, we good with that?
Funeral pay and boat leave, same. Compensation insurance, she'll figure that one out.
But as a placeholder, was, should we put 8 in there?
For funeral?
Workers' compensation.
No, workers' comp,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right,
8,
yep,
Eight,
that's
yeah.
what you did on the other one.
but we'll fill it in.
When I get the bill, I'll
Yeah.
check on that tomorrow.
Payroll taxes, I'm fine with, that looks good.
Healthcare, that's none of the questions. Alright,
Right, that's gonna be at 75%, about $15,750.
I'm sorry, what is?
Retirement expense?
Health reimbursement.
For the summer, for the
We're,
travel. pay
hold
tax,
on,
we did
let's make sure we're
550.
talking about the same.
Yeah,
What-
Jump ahead,
yeah,
sorry,
child,
What
so-
are you talking about?
healthcare reimbursement.
We're talking about childcare
Sorry.
payroll tax.
Well, no,
No.
Tim is talking about healthcare reimbursement account.
And we're talking about using the
So
same
we
75%
slided-
that we did before.
Yeah,
And that will be $15,750.
so 16,000.
Want it at 16?
well, it's the rough number, 75% of,
Well, no, I did the math of 42,000, 75% is 15,750.
yeah. So
I want 16,000.
No, it's all right.
I don't think it makes any difference.
15,750.
15,750.
7, whatever's good.
uniforms 1,500. Contract services,
so lots of times we, spent some money over the years, like hauling in winter sand and this, that, and the other thing, so, but I think we could bring that down to 25 if you wanted to.
Sure.
Um,
Should we make conferences and workshops 500 or,
um,
oh, sorry,
that's because of that-
1396,
That's
I'm
because of
sorry.
one employee.
What do you think for that? Are we gonna,
I would just put $1,000 in
Okay.
there with new employees and this, that, and the
Yeah.
other thing,
50 for mileage,
yeah.
highway signs,
250.
250.
Yeah. Safety equipment, again, we bought some stuff, cones, I would leave that at 1,000.
For what?
Put that at 1,000.
Safety equipment.
Safety equipment. I think during like the last flood, we had 2 road closed signs.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be dense about this, but since we have conferences and workshops here, class 3 winter maintenance, and we also had it in class 3 summer maintenance. Again, if we're trying to build up the summer expenses so that we get more state money, why don't we put it all there instead of having it be winter and summer and class 3 versus class 2? I mean, I'm sorry, I just don't understand how that works.
We code things for whenever bills are paid. October to the end of April
Right,
is coded
winter, yeah.
and then summer is May through October. So if somebody goes to a class in the winter, it goes to the winter. If they take a class in the summer, it goes in the summer. So I don't really care if you just wanna have one category, honestly. You just have to tell me.
Would,
But
would
it's gonna be billed in the whatever.
Megan and
Just-
Mark look at that and say,
Well, that,
Are
I
you
think they
gaming us
probably,
too
I think you are running that risk.
risk, yeah.
And it's kind of bugged me too. It's like I get a material now and it gets, anyway, but, anyone is more than welcome to reach out to anybody if they wanna change, to Mark, if they wanna change something, but you'll find that it comes up repetitively. Culverts comes up in
Yeah,
different
I know,
categories.
yeah. Right.
It's going to come up in different categories, and I think if he says, wait a minute, you didn't spend any money on something in this time of year, but you're trying to,
They'd probably accuse you of trying to overload the one system so you get more money in aid. That's
and I
where it
mean,
would end
which
up
is-
going.
What we're doing.
well, right,
But-
well, you'd be trying to do, I mean, I think that,
They don't mind a little bit. but
I think
they're
So
not
the
things
gonna
that
like-
state wants you to divide it
yeah,
between summer and winter.
yeah.
I see.
It's another one of these state mandates.
They require us. to
Thank you,
do
Denny.
it. Yeah.
No,
Right,
I-
I know
they
it
come in
is,
and say,
yeah.
what did you spend on summer, or what did you spend on that, and they wanna know those numbers. Bank run gravel and stone, that would have been like a mud season thing, and mud season wasn't too bad, so we didn't spend.
And we were still in
But
drought.
it should still be 10.
10,000.
Yeah, we don't know what mud season's gonna bring,
Right.
so
Yeah, we got.
we spent 10,000 to get to Linda's house before.
She's right off the main road.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but you came in it from the wrong
Wrong
direction. You
end,
should
I
Yeah,
have
know.
that's
taken
right.
Route 100.
Yeah, if you'd started at Route 100, it wouldn't have cost you 10
Yeah,
minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
We started out on Old Tavern.
Yeah, right.
And here's one, we must have spent a bunch the spring before that on
Crushed,
the crush.
64,000.
Yeah.
60, and that was like a bad mud season, and so, I don't know, you wanna put that number at 60?
Ooh.
I think when you get all done, you might change it and move it upwards, but, I'm willing to,
Downwards. Right.
Okay.
Up or down? You
You
think
spent
up?
20 this year, you wanna go up to
You wanna go
60?
down
well,
to
we
60? 'Cause
budgeted
it was-
65 last year,
Oh.
and that
so
was
you're
from
saying
a bad mud season.
The year before.
The year
Okay,
before,
I
so
see
we
what
had
you're
some
saying.
sort of, and those things
I
change.
see what
I
you're
mean, we
saying,
can have
yeah,
a
you-
great
you
mud
can't
season
predict
or
it,
a
yeah.
really bad one, so if you cut yourself really short, you're like, oh my god.
So you wanna keep it at
See,
60,000?
we'll have to do
That's
totals
one of
this
the
year.
hard things about this
It
trying
is.
to budget, because nobody's got a crystal ball knowing what Mother Nature's gonna do, and
Sure.
you
Yeah.
know, we've over
That-
the years have always worked things around so that we have enough and we're not running in the red and don't have to have a special meeting to raise more funds.
Right.
Mhm.
But at the same point, you're having a 40,000 swing that people are gonna look at and wonder why, but you obviously have the answers, so, yeah, I got it.
So, well, why don't we put that in at 60?
That's
I
what
think
I
that's what
really,
it
is.
Yeah.
Linda,
Yeah,
okay.
that's okay with you guys. Here we go, culverts and headers again.
Yeah.
Gonna dry, I just, that's the culverts I just ordered, and was able to get it in there. So
So then we have.
maybe we should move that number to 5,000.
I'm good with that.
Just things go up every year, it seems like. Sodium chloride, the salt, that's, you're throwing darts at a dartboard, but maybe make that 28,
I'd go to 30.
30, Denny.
It
Yeah,
was 25.
Well, I can tell you this last ice storm, we used as much material in this last ice storm as we used the beginning of the winter.
Yeah, I'm not shocked that it was.
Well, and I suspect we're
rough.
gonna have more ice than we are snow.
See, a lot of people don't understand that, you know, you can get a 2-inch storm, 3-inch storm. And it costs basically the same amount of money to take care of everything as a foot of snow does.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah, right.
That's
So a
what-
lot of people don't realize that.
Oh, in fact, it can cost more because, you know, when it's,
Well, that ice
well,
was,
it's
that
all
ice was
ice.
bad. This morning was a
That's killer.
typical, you could have dealt with a foot of snow this morning as well as you could have dealt with what we had.
3 inches.
You had to
Yeah.
plow and you had to sand. we could have got a foot in you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
Doing that again tonight, yeah.
and it sounds like tonight and tomorrow morning, we're gonna be doing that again.
So
And,
wait, so you were saying that you used more salt in this past one storm than you did in the beginning of last winter?
for the beginning of the,
So is.
Beginning of this winter.
This beginning of, okay, so is 30,000, you were saying, right, for someone, is that enough?
yeah. it-
That
I mean,
30,000's for the whole year, Katie.
Okay,
Yeah.
He's just saying number of yards or pounds
okay,
or
alright,
tons.
that 27, Katie, is kind of a reflection of that, the salt that I just used.
okay,
I'd already gotten a bill for that salt and it had already been paid. So we're
Okay.
coming into a new year
Got it.
and maybe we'll make a gamble and it'll be
got it, I get it,
okay.
thank you.
So this next category down, and I don't know what totally happened there, but we got winter sand and then
Trucking winter sand.
Yeah, I was wondering what the difference was.
somewhere else we got some, we got trucking winter sand, so we're at winter sand, we spent 36,000 on winter sand.
Maybe just leave it or
We
bump it up
leave
to.
it, part of the thing is too, there was some talk about getting an addition going up there, a septic going kind of prior, and the pile got really down. So last year we spent some money, but I would say 36,000 because I spoke with the guy that we've been getting the sand from this year, and he said he wasn't going to raise the price for this coming year, so what shocked me, but I haven't.
And you say this guy's closer.
Can we lock it?
Yeah, so we can get,
Yeah.
we get
We have a
10,
contract.
we get 10 or 12 loads from this place in a day, we can get, and the other place we were getting 5,
Mhm.
so.
Mileage and time.
Oh yeah, the new truck had 20,000 miles on it in the first year, which that means 200,000 in 10 years.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the trucks that we're gotta get rid of were both under 100,000 miles. So that extra trucking, I don't know that it's a bad thing, you know, I don't know, but I'm just saying like, so the closer we can get the material, the better.
Yep.
And then the trucking general, I don't know.
I mean,
This is,
the
so,
year before was 5,000, 0 was spent, and then 2,500 was,
Mhm.
I can pull
With the 18
the report
grand
and
was-
show you what
Yeah,
we
yeah.
spent on, if you want me to run and do that quickly.
that would be great.
Or we can even
Well-
look at it tomorrow. I mean, that's.
Why don't you do that, Kim, and let's just we'll keep going, because, I mean, we got trucking winter sand,
What is the difference?
I'm guessing,
That was David Shaves who split out trucking from sand, and I don't know.
Oh,
why.
trucking of the winter sand.
Yes.
Of the
Yeah.
ones. And you remember back, there was a category of 15,000 that we kind of eliminated. We said we won't need that money. Well, here's where we were over on the trucking general. So it all kind of evens out. You're not trying to get right down to the penny. You're trying to get close and stay within your
Yep, it's gonna
budget.
happen, yep.
so what do you think, 5,000 for trucking winter sand or 0?
I would leave something in there.
So like 1,000.
Yeah, cause if you have a
Well,
breakdown.
I had Mike O'Neill already truck one day before that ice storm for us, so I already know there's a bill coming in for trucking, so I would take that to 5,000.
Okay,
The
and street sweeping,
the trucking winter sand, I think you could move that down to $1,000, and I think
No,
it's almost a
Oh, wait.
it's almost a duplication of.
so
So-
the,
Trucking winter sand will be 1,000.
and trucking general is 5,000.
Thank you.
okay, yeah,
Alright,
I
thank
missed
you.
that,
me
yeah.
too.
Okay.
And then street sweeping, I know we paid Tommy Fuller a small amount because he didn't get to it, but I don't see it in there.
But we should leave 1,500 in there probably.
Or maybe 1,000, I don't know.
Leave
What-
it at 15.
1,500 or 1,000.
Yeah, I think you put 15 because there's some stuff that. Sure. And then these other things are just, you know, it's not really a lot to me, but, bridge repair fund, we budgeted last year, the town gave us the 40. We put it in the thing. Looks like we took a little bit of a loan against that bridge fund. And it looks like as of right now, there's 789,000. And if I heard Kim right, there was,
234,000.
that's after the 234 was
Oh,
taken out.
okay. All right.
Yeah, the 500,000 loan, I think she said, right?
What's that?
The
Right?
the loan, was the loan 500,000? Is that what I?
No,
No.
no.
No, it was just for the
What's the
land.
difference between this? Oh, I see. Okay, got it. Loan to, okay, got it. Loan 234.
But I believe she told me the 789 is the number that's still in there.
But the 234 is.
Kimmeron Bridge
gonna
Repair
have to
Fund.
move back.
Okay, you wanna
So,
go? All I need to do is change the header on that category that's at 18.5. Because it was screened winter sand.
That's what I got it on my first one. And so I actually
Excuse me.
figured it, Cam, figured it for us. So you somehow changed it, but it was winter sand and then winter sand screened. And those both should have been in the same category.
What do you mean?
Are we talking about on page 7?
Mhm.
Great.
At the bottom of page
Okay, so
seven?
Yeah.
Winter sand, Katie?
Yeah, right here.
At 35.
Yeah.
And then you got trucking general, and
Right.
she's saying, on
The
my
18,
first
yeah.
one, it was for
Screened.
screened winter sand,
Okay.
same thing. And so I think Kim, I should have been more clear, that should have just went in under winter sand.
So you don't need a separate category for screened?
No, it's just one pit calls it one thing and one pit calls it something else.
Okay.
So it doesn't, but let me just give you a total. So in that category of winter sand, we spent 55,046.73. So that 18 and the 36 equals that number. So that's actually what that winter sand should go in under that 55, but delete that trucking general of 18 and all that stuff.
And
Because
just combine it.
that was the winter sand.
Okay, I'll move that up. So what are you budgeting for winter sand on that line?
I would say the 55 that we spent last year. And that's what
Okay, I wrote down 36.
Right.
we didn't know that it was combined at
Okay.
18,000, Jim.
I
So
got
we're
it,
gonna
I got it.
budget 55.
And then the other one is 0, right? Then trucking general is 0.
Maybe we should leave 1,000 in there. I don't know. Keeps
Okay.
that category open and, so
That's
in
good.
that category right there that we were in, we were under budget by $68,637.
So we're leaving trucking winter sand, we're taking out trucking general. No, we're leaving trucking general as
I had
1,000,
1,000. Trucking winter sand.
is also 1,000. Is that right?
Because it's not necessarily needed anymore. We just want to keep it open, right?
Yeah.
Category open, I guess, is what we were.
And just talking about these reserve funds, which you're gonna get to on the next.
Yep.
Page here, or, on page 8, the year-end status on page 12 and 13 of your town report shows where those are. And when you see borrowing against one or another fund, it's because we guessed wrong and,
Move
some
the
other
funds.
category, it needed some money, and how we manage that is we borrow against that category, and then we under or we reduce its funding in the next couple of years to get things back in balance. But we're kind of shifting things around year to year to try to keep them in balance.
Makes sense. I understand.
Alright, so the first one we got is a bridge repair fund, and we took the money for the land out of there. Are we just gonna leave that as a loan? Are we gonna try and repay it, or are we just gonna?
Kim, you said this was a loan with interest, right?
Well,
Did
it
you,
can be.
correct me if I'm wrong?
Well, it can be, it's whatever you want, you're not obligated to pay interest back, but you generally have. And
My-
it's whatever nominal amount.
My only question about this, and this is like a policy state issue. The voters over the years have voted that money be put into a bridge repair fund. And if you don't put it back in there, you're kind of not doing what the voters directed you to do with that money. And when you come into funds like that, it's different than the categories we were just talking about are, they can't tell us how to spend the money that in those categories we were talking about. They give us a budget, and if we stay within that budget, these are funds that the voters vote at town meeting. Shall the voters put in? And that would be the only thing that I would be leery about, because it's shall the voters, and the voters did. So the voters gave you the money to put into a bridge repair fund. So in being honest with the voters, I think that
We should
somehow
start
that money
paying it
would go
back.
back in there.
Well, I think what we ought to do is have a new fund that will fund the real estate purchasing, or something like that. Town facilities expansion, or I don't know what the word is, but there ought to be. I think we ought to have a new fund in
Which
there.
we start building.
Have you not read how many funds we've got in this town?
I have, Jeff. We got 2 pages.
And you want to
worth.
create another?
But
Well,
No, I know.
but this is
This
is a whole new category of stuff. And to your point, I think it's a really good point. We ought to have
Be transparent.
a fund that represents that, because at some point maybe we're gonna develop that, maybe we're not, maybe we're gonna sell it, but in the meantime, I think it ought to be in a separate category, don't you? Am I crazy?
Why don't we do this? To try and keep things within reason. We did it with the wall up there. We took a 5-year note. So you divide this 235 roughly with interest by 5. And we put a line article or put it in our budget someplace. It's gonna be 40 some odd thousand that we put that in, and it goes back to replace the bridge repair fund. The next thing we do is we create the new fund which we should be doing. And it's gonna take time after we get through this budget thing and get into February. Maybe we can sit down some night and decide what we want to do up there on the land. Then we can look for an engineer that would take the existing maps we've got and say, this is what you can do, where you can do it. And the next thing we've got to do is touch base with the planning commission to see if they're going to have an issue with us doing that. But I had a very brief conversation with Debbie today. And she says when it comes to the towns doing things, the rules get relaxed quite a bit. So that's my input is to where we ought to go is treat this as a 5-year loan.
And
Put
just,
it back in the bridge fund over a 5-year period.
Exactly.
Create a new fund for anything that you want to do up
Yeah,
there, and then ask the voters to give you money to put into that fund.
Right.
And if they do, then
we'll
God, God bless them. They said, yes,
Yeah.
we're gonna give you, but I think you're being more transparent by doing that.
yeah, I agree.
So do we need to put even more into the bridge repair fund, not just repaying the loan, but putting more in because we've got this project coming up, for which we don't have enough grant money?
Well,
I mean, I understand we haven't necessarily decided to do it, but
see, that's the bone of contention with me
yeah, okay.
is they didn't apply for enough grant money. So the bridge is in good shape, why should we be tearing out a perfectly good bridge and spending our town money on it?
Okay.
And I will say at some, and if I might, at one of the meetings, the question was asked, if we don't get money enough for the bridge, we're not gonna, we're not gonna spend another $1 million. I mean, we might spend, in my opinion, and I think we talked about it, I think I said it at the meeting, you might spend $50,000 to get this done, but, and just so you know, that was that $90,000, that bridge repair fund. And we cut that down last year for some reason, Jim. We cut that down from 90 to 40 for some reason.
Yeah, because it was
getting big.
It was a big number.
It was getting
Yeah,
right up there.
exactly, and we saw more need for highway, for
So-
equipment reserve, for instance.
If you're thinking you're gonna have to put some money into this out here, and you probably should.
Yeah, well,
Well,
and.
let me throw this out there. That bridge they did over there at Andover, not this summer, but year before, that was a little over $2 million.
Is that the one at the end of the horseshoe?
Yeah, that was a little over $2 million.
Really?
And I've been saying right along, your engineers you had out here
Yeah, it was low.
are way off the mark on everything. And I do not like this coming in low, getting the project started, and then having to go into town funds. I don't think that's the right way to do business.
Yeah, well, the only other reality there is we've got this grant money. We applied for 3.6, we got 3. And if we don't spend it,
Could have to
By
raise all the money ourselves, right?
2029 or 2030, it goes away. We don't get to keep the money.
But
So-
of that 3 you got, wasn't part of that for the theater company to take out the dam?
Well, it's not the theater
For the
company. it's the-
WCA, yeah, absolutely.
So you don't have the whole 3 for the bridge.
No.
Absolutely.
And
No,
you're
we're way
talking-
short.
You're talking 3 million, right?
Yeah.
You're not talking 300, you got.
We're talking 3
Oh,
million.
yeah.
You got
Yeah,
300,000 for the
yeah.
library, but you're talking 3 million here on this bridge.
Yes.
I'm just saying,
Well,
That's-
it's
I don't
that's
know.
for the bridge and
Jeff,
the dam.
it's important. It's 3 million for the bridge
Total.
and the dam. Yeah,
and I have to just say this, that I don't, and I'm just saying this in round numbers and talking around the table. I think if this project went to bid and everything, and it came in $1 million over what you have to work with, I think the voters would say,
Forget it.
forget it.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying.
well, but the scenario, there are gonna be 2 projects. And, let's say the dam project comes in $500,000 over and the bridge comes in $500,000 over. First thing we have to do, and the dam is already more expensive than, I think, more expensive than the bridge, in terms of the estimated costs in the grant application. So I think we need to spend as much as we need to, up to the 3 million, to get the dam done, and then we'll talk about the bridge later. But I think we have to assume that we're going hell bent for leather on the dam, and the bridge is, is so complicated because there are all kinds of constraints on the library side, there are constraints on this side. We don't know what, there's a lot of debate about whether we should do the pony trust thing or just, have a cantilever, not cantilever, but, just a regular.
I mean,
Will the
being-
grant allow us to do that though, Jim?
Yes.
It would,
Yeah, the
it would
grant-
allow us to just put money towards one and not the other?
The grant is, as far as I can tell now, is extremely flexible in terms of,
Okay.
we've got this money. We can spend it if we're over, that's on us. They're not gonna give us any more money, but we've got $3 million to spend here. And we don't have to spend all of it, but if we don't spend it,
you have remaining.
it's gone. It just,
Well,
So-
the question was raised early enough that they didn't have the money or didn't have adequate numbers. And so my big question is, why wasn't the grant altered to reflect that they didn't have their numbers right?
Whose numbers? The grantor?
The engineers probably give you guys an estimate on what the bridge would cost. And 2 or 3 different contractors told me that there's no way possible. I raised the issue at meetings and the
Yeah.
grant was not adjusted. Nothing has been done. I asked about hazardous waste. Nothing has been done there. It wouldn't take much to have gotten in the river this summer and done some tests to find out if that stuff was. I don't like the whole setup. It stinks.
Yeah.
I just,
Okay.
I,
Back to the budget. Do
Full
you
of
guys want,
problems.
do you guys wanna take the budget number for the bridge repair fund from 40 and raise it? Some, because if you're close on this bridge out here, you might need a little bit of money. One bridge project, you know, the bridge crossing Greendale, which was done in 38, is probably gonna cost you that whole $1 million. And there's 3 bridges on Greendale that you could use some work on. There's a culvert on Cider Mill that might use some work.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying to you guys, do you wanna put, I don't care if you make it 50, 60, you
Make
leave
it
it at 40,
60.
but
16.
Well,
I thought this conversation started over how much we were gonna put in that fund.
well, it has, but the bridge repair fund, absolutely. And we're talking about putting repaying the loan in that fund too, right?
Well,
Right.
that wouldn't be in this number though.
Yeah, but,
That would
well, in
be-
other words, if we're gonna set up another fund, and I don't know, we can call it the X fund. I don't know. Don't have an elegant name for it,
Do you,
but it's, the 17-acre fund.
and you and I both know, you gotta be very cautious of what you name those funds.
Yeah,
Because
well, exactly.
This fund right here is the bridge repair fund. You start building a new bridge and somebody brings it up and says, that isn't
Repairing.
repairing, you're building new. So I'm just saying if you wanna move that number, I'm willing to move that number anywhere you wanna
Yeah.
go to, and Denny suggested 60.
Kim's got a question.
I wondered if the repayment to the bridge fund would actually be a general fund expense. Rather than, why put it, I mean.
It wouldn't
Okay.
fall, it
It
wouldn't
wouldn't be
fall
a
under,
highway.
it wouldn't
Highway.
fall under highway. That's gonna be in Kim's budget, and she brings up a very good point, but what do you
Let
wanna
her
do
take
on,
the hit.
what do you wanna do on the bridge?
60.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. And if we have to add some more to do the repayment on the land acquisition, we'll deal with that later.
But I do think Kim's right that comes up under town general.
Yeah,
The equipment reserve fund,
I asked Jim to rerun work.
and I haven't done it.
I put some thought into it, so here's the good and the bad about it. We're 2 years out from receiving a new truck. We haven't even ordered it yet. We have to get the order in.
Oh, well, okay,
And then, so
but you're
they,
gonna do that, yeah.
well, the next select board meeting, we talk about it, but I didn't get approval to order the truck at the last one. So if we got this year and next year, I don't see any equipment that we have to replace except for Huey's truck, and we know the number on that truck is just round numbers, is 300,000. It's not quite that much, but, so we got 140 in there right now. If we put 140 in there this year, or you can raise it if you want to, but Huey's truck is coming down the line.
I'm sorry, you said 340,
300.
300?
300 is rough numbers, Jim, of what the new
Yeah.
10-wheel is
Yeah.
gonna be.
So you wanna add another 140 is what you just said, no?
I'd
Well,
bump it
no,
to
no, I was gonna
150.
leave it at one.
I'd like to bump it 150.
Leave it.
And I'm fine
You
with
got
that.
inflation.
No, I'm fine with it, Denny.
I'm happy with that.
Kind of why we're talking about it. Highway maintenance fund, you could leave that at 75. That's one of those categories that I think when you get all said and done and start looking at the overall budget, you might raise that up a little bit.
I'll leave it 75 for now.
Um,
Highway diesel, I'd leave the same.
At 45.
Well, one of the things is, it won't be a lot, but if we mow the roadsides twice, that tractor runs on diesel.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be right, we'll be close to that number, Denny, so and you don't know what fuel's gonna do, could go up, could go down, but.
You looked at me kind of strange.
I just didn't understand what you said, but then I figured it out in a minute. So yeah, mowing, you're talking about mowing.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about striping and I thought, no,
Me
no,
too.
no, I just heard it wrong. I got it. That's why I was looking at you strange, sorry.
Highway equipment maintenance,
That
know-
one had better go to 60.
yeah,
It's got 90 in it now, or as of the end of 24.
what's that, Jim?
What,
Where are you?
Where?
oh,
are you?
I'm just looking at highway maintenance, what it was at the end of 24.
No, highway equipment maintenance now.
Highway.
Highway, no, I'm
No,
looking at
he's looking
highway
at the amount
maintenance.
that's in the fund.
That was in
Oh,
the fund
he's back
at
up there at the highway.
at the end of last year.
How much was in
Oh,
there?
I'm sorry, end of, we've just
20,
changed years.
Yeah,
The end of 24, it
What
was
was in it?
90, but I don't know where it is now. Where
Off
was
to
it?
the right, it says it's a highway, a maintenance fund is at 166,942.
6,000. Yeah.
That's what your balance is.
yeah.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
added
Oh, I see, that's
75
what
to
those
that.
numbers are.
Yeah. Kenny had skipped down to diesel, and so that's why I was, diesel, I would leave it to 45. I think we talked about that a little bit.
Mhm.
Equipment maintenance, Denny just said 60. I think 60 is probably a good number, as we put
Mhm.
just about $6,000 into Huey's truck this week. Well, last week. Truck insurance, I don't know much about that, so
I don't have that bill yet. That's.
Should be filled in.
Well, let's, put as a placeholder, let's put in 8.
crack sealing, I'm gonna try to get some of that done this year, so I would leave that at 5, just to
Okay,
try to get some of that done.
so where does that put us here? Somebody,
285, 335, 330, 390, 398. 403, I got it, but I could be
is
wrong.
that right? Yeah.
What'd you come up with, 398?
403.
Doing it quick in my head.
Yeah, he's just doing it in his head, but then you can see that,
320, 380. Just came up with 393,
yeah,
but
I'm not gonna play with it,
We
let
had
you guys.
368, you added 20 on the bridger fund, 10. So that's 78, 98, and another 5. Where you added 5 to highway equipment maintenance. So that would be the 403. 98 and 5.
Grants and aids, if we're ready to go there.
403, yeah.
403.
Yeah, I got 403.
You win the arithmetic prize, Jenny.
Yeah. The grant, the highway grants and aids, we generally get around 17.5, so I don't know why we had 38 in there. I would put that in at the 17.5. That's, sometimes we get like 21, but usually it's right around that 17.5 that we actually got.
So wait, you wanna keep it at 17.5?
I think so, Katie. The interior, we never know. Jenny, you got any input on that?
Well, historically, we left the interior and state highway low because we never know what they're gonna do with their budget cuts and stuff, and so it gives us a little leeway. And so if we put it at 20 and 30, we're not putting ourselves in a position where September, October, oh, we're out of money, we gotta go borrow or do this.
What'd
or
you
that.
say, put it in at 20?
Yeah, leave them the same, 20.
20.
The Department of the Interior 20 and the state aid 30.
30.
Yeah.
Except The reason we dropped it to 30,000 in 25 was because in 2024, because of the flooding, not in this area, but elsewhere, the state threw all the state aid at us in July and August of 24. And that included what we would have counted as revenue in the first 2 quarters of 25. So you dropped it in half because we weren't gonna get as much as normal. So my question to you is, we're now getting about 19,000 per quarter. We've received the first 2 quarters, which made up the 38. So you should be getting not quite 20,000 per quarter. Do you wanna put it in at 15 per quarter? And that would be 60 instead of 30?
That sounds entirely reasonable.
Well, that
Yeah,
sounds like
60.
an
Yeah, I
educated.
mean, I think
Now,
we
we're
ought
gonna
to
get
do it.
4 payments in 25.
Right, and
It's
Yeah.
none of this
19,000.
2 for,
Educated.
or 4 26, none
correct.
of this 6 and 25 and 2.
Well, yeah, what happened was we got
I gave them
6 in 24, 6
Right.
payments in 24, and 2 in 25.
Right,
And now we should be back to 4 in 26.
should be.
Yeah.
Should be.
yeah.
So that's why I'm suggesting 15 instead of 19.
The worst part about it is you overfigure, like Denny said, if you overfigure it and something does happen, we have a flood this summer and they say, oh, so I get Denny's point.
So we're putting in state aid to highways is 60,
Yeah, maybe it's just,
and what about the Department of the Interior? That
Fair,
stays at 20?
20.
I think it's 20, because you just don't know what, that's federal aid.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
And Denny, is that based on like payment in lieu of taxes for the forest?
Yeah,
say it again.
So
Payment, what?
it's payment in lieu of taxes for the Green Mountain Forest, so it's
Oh,
land in
okay.
Weston that they
Because we're not
have.
getting, got it,
Right.
tax dollars.
understood.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Taxes.
And yeah, lit 350 and 140. So to get back to visit the equipment replacement fund, we have added an excavator and an over rail mowing machine.
Yeah,
And so they gotta be added into this
calculation.
calculation. And being as they're gonna sit still 6-7 months of the year, I was figuring 20-year lifespan on them.
Maybe, I don't know, the grader set's still half the year too, and we figure a 15-year lifespan on that, so I think you're stretching it a little bit with today's new equipment. And I mean, I'm not being sarcastic about it, but I think 15 years has been a pretty safe bet on having money enough in the budget to cover the pieces that we needed. And as you said, you don't want to cut yourself short here and there. The next piece that we have coming up after the Huey's truck, well, we really have 2 pieces coming up. We have the replacement of the little International that Alman was driving, and the bucket loader is coming up as well. The bucket loader's in pretty good shape. I think we could take a little gamble on that and put a little money into it and maybe stretch that out and get 5 years. So the good and the bad, what's happened with the economy and this COVID thing and everything is the people that supply the dump bodies and the plows and the wings. I talked to him and he's telling me if you want a dump body, a plow and a wing, you need to order 2 years in advance. Alman's truck is a 22. It needs to be replaced in 27. We need to order the dump body right now.
He said that he could keep us in that one price though, right?
He will not guarantee that price,
He will
and it's
not
not,
guarantee it.
and I called him and talked to him, and it specifically said in his price, and at the bottom of the thing, you know, we cannot guarantee, you know, due to this, and he is saying, so far, we've been able to hold our numbers, and I think I put enough in there to hold that number. He says it's a big corporation and cause I'm like, well, you know, your contract clearly states. And I called the salesman and I called Mike Murray of Viking, their contract clearly states that they can raise the price if tariffs go up or this, that, or the other thing. And I said, you know, the board's asking me, he says, we're not gonna do it. It's a big corporation, they're not gonna do it. He said, we're gonna do the best we can. And we're hoping that we'll be right there. And he said, I think I have enough in there.
We're not gonna do what? We're not gonna guarantee the price?
We're not guaranteeing. the
Yeah,
price.
gotcha.
And now the truck basically they'll guarantee the price because they can have the truck in 3 months. They just can't get a body put on. And so it blows me away that we don't even 100% know what truck we would buy to replace Almond's truck, but yet we gotta order a body for it. And you get what I'm saying? And maybe when I say that to him, like, we're placing an order, maybe he just gets you in the schedule, maybe it's the scheduling thing. And then maybe he calls you 6 months prior to your scheduled date and says, okay, what truck are you putting it on? I don't know, but for me, coming into this and trying to get through this and then having to say, you know, so Almond and I worked for 15 years on getting equipment and this, that, and the other thing. And, you know, you put an order in and in 6 to 8 months you had a truck. And then this last one was a year and now they're like 2 years. So you gotta be looking so far down the road, it's not even funny. Right. So that's gonna come up at the next select board meeting and I hope we get the order in. And then we also gotta talk about, do we get in the schedule and order a body for a small truck? Cause it'll be about the right time. I think Huey's truck should have been replaced in 26 and it looks like it's gonna be 28. And, you know, just in the last week, we've put, you know, $5,000-6,000 into it.
Just the radiator, we replaced the radiator in the truck that, the 10-wheeler replaced. And just the radiator, no labor or anything. It was, $2,500, he said. Same radiator for this truck that Huey's driving, it's $4,000.
We did all the work in-house. We changed the radiator. I think you could have changed the motor easier than you could have changed the radiator, but we changed the radiator, got that in, and then another chronic problem that happens to it a lot popped up like 2 days later. So at one point last week we had 2 trucks down and 1 truck running. So that's just kind of a general overview of you're looking long range today, I guess.
Well, the other thing too is towns are at a disadvantage when it comes to ordering municipal equipment and fire trucks, because we're ordering one. The city of New York, they're probably ordering 100 a year, fire trucks and big trucks. So who's going to get taken care of first?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're at the bottom of
the vendors are lining up, begging for the order, and here we are.
Oh yeah, you're trying to
get begging somebody to sell us something.
Could I get my toe in the door here to try to get a body?
Yeah,
So
right.
that's kind of where we're at, but, and then, I don't know if you wanted to, so there was the fair overage in there.
Oh,
I don't know if you want to discuss that.
Jeff's got a, last I knew from
It's not.
103,000. 103,000.
Well, it's 102.
$103,000 surplus is highway thing.
102, 211.
So,
So my thoughts, what we did last year is there was about that much surplus. So my thoughts were, and that's why I didn't change the equipment reserve fund much, is I'm okay with you taking 60,000 of that surplus, putting it into the equipment reserve fund. And last year we returned about 40,000 to the taxpayers to offset taxes on the thing. So what I would like to see, if I came in here tonight and I said, I don't, let's not discuss anything, I would have said, let's level fund everything that was in last year's thing and not nitpick every little thing. And then we'll be close and we can do kind of what we did. So that's really up to you. We can return it all to the voters if you want. I mean,
Can we use some of this also does this get applied towards like possible races or anything like that?
well, it's actually,
Yeah, it's like to the part of the surplus, so like 60% into the reserve equipment reserve fund. You're talking like on average 40,000 back to the voters, but as far as like, can we take part of this and put it towards raises for like,
Well, all this is fungible. I mean, it
It's okay.
just flows all over everything.
okay,
Also, if you
We're
put it
not
toward,
giving it back to the voters. We're just reducing, when
we're putting it in
says that,
different, we're
Okay.
putting it in
we're
different.
just gonna reduce the budget by that.
okay.
I mean.
and we have that surplus this year, we could put it toward raises, but then those raises are still gonna be there next year and we won't have that surplus next year to pay
Okay.
for it, so.
I think you have it in the overall budget, in the
Yeah.
scheme of things, and I think if you take this 60 and move it over into the equipment reserve fund, it help. That's why I didn't say let's get carried away when we were up there, cause if you take 60 out of that number's gonna, be like 220 up there in your equipment reserve fund before you get another 150.
Right.
You get where I'm at, so that, I was looking at the long range scheme of this budget when I was.
Well, let's go one step further, Jeff. The small truck you're driving, that's 22. Alright, so we're looking at 27, we're gonna draw roughly 300, round figures, 300,000 now. And how much did that truck you're driving cost now?
Well,
175, I think, somewhere.
Oh, God, no, it was
No, I think it was 169.
Yeah, 169.
But it wasn't.
Well, I'm talking round figures.
Yeah.
I think you gotta use a minimum of 175.
Alright, so we have to make sure that's a 22, so basically you're gonna be wanting to replace that truck in 27 or 28. So
Oh, yeah, no, and that is if it holds up I mean, probably
Oh,
in
that's another-
26, you're gonna be scratching your head saying, how much money do we wanna put into this thing?
That's another question is, what size truck are we gonna replace it with?
Those are arguments for another day, I'm sure, but I don't think taking that 60 out of my overage and moving it into the equipment reserve fund hurts anything.
No, I'm questioning whether we're gonna have enough, Jeff.
Yeah,
Whether
no,
put
I
the whole
know.
thing in there, all of the overage into that.
So the
Well,
whole
that's
one
what we originally talked about, but what I'm saying is I haven't kept track of the numbers here, but right now we've got what, equipment reserve, we've got 140, and we're gonna add
150.
100.
Current
We
177.
got 166 in there right now, you're gonna add 150, you said.
Alright, so that's 316. So
And then-
that would leave you, round, I'm gonna use round figures, 16,000 after you buy the new truck.
316, is that adding the 60 that you take out of town highway?
Not right now, so you add
Okay.
that 60,
Yeah,
okay, so that's 76,000.
376, you're saying,
And then you put 140 in there,
again, because you got another year, yeah.
so by the time you buy that new truck, you're gonna be basically broke in the equipment reserve fund.
But remember, if things go like they did last year and this year, we've got $60,000 of overage to put in there, so we're not gonna be broke.
Can't count your chickens before they're hatched.
Well, no, but I don't want you taking everything out of that highway equipment fund, then the voters look at it and say, look.
Well, no, I'm not
Alman
taking,
was running it and always had an overage, and now Jeff spent every goddamn thing that we gave him.
Yeah.
Last year, we left 40,000, we returned it to the voters, and we had roughly $100,000 overage.
alright, why don't
This
we
year,
do
if we do
this?
60,
Why don't we do this? We'll
we
take
get
this, take the 60, move it to the equipment reserve fund. And then maybe by the time we get this finished, or definitely by town meeting, we can rework this equipment.
So you might be able to
Less.
rework there. I think you're
And-
gonna need to move something up somewhere and that may be the spot to move it.
Yeah, we have it on paper, not just trying to do everything in my head,
Oh,
but have it on paper. So if we have to get up at town meeting and say, look, this is the numbers in black and white, and we need to adjust this number. It won't be the first time we've stood up at town meeting and adjusted a number.
And I think it'll work. I mean, I think it'll work. If we put that in there. We've got 2 more years of 140 coming. They're telling me 2 years before the any truck's gonna be available. So we're gonna have 280,000 before the truck even arrives.
More in that fund, yeah.
Yeah, so we're not in bad shape with that fund if we put the 60. I mean,
What's the next
and-
piece?
what was that?
What's the next piece?
The loader is the next piece that would be coming up. And then, then you buy yourself another 15 years once that comes up. So you buy yourself, the graders new, you buy yourself 15 years there. So we really have fallen into so we had a 2014 truck, a 2016 truck. We fought, and then the grader, we had pretty near 400,000 that we spent on that, but we had the money in there. So I don't think we're on a bad track, and we may want to raise it by a little bit, but I'm saying if we take 60, that helps that fund, keeps everything, kind of level where it was. And that's what would be my recommendation. And I think on the raises, if you're looking at it, when it came to road foreman, there was quite a lot of money that didn't get spent there through the thing. So I think the money was there. It obviously was there. We had $100,000 overage. If you wanted to give somebody a raise last year, the money was there to give out a raise. It wasn't that it wasn't there.
But to get to the replacement fund thing, the original papers that Jim drew up, it showed us at one time there was gonna be a big crunch when 3 or 4 major pieces of equipment were gonna have to be replaced. That's just the way the timing
Yeah,
worked out.
exactly, and if these reserve funds, if you do the calculations right, every one of them is gonna dip actually negative. You're gonna have a big year of having to replace
Yeah.
3 pieces or build a huge bridge or some damn thing,
Yeah.
and it's gonna go negative, but the other funds are gonna be positive, and you can borrow.
Rob
And
Peter to pay
that's the
Paul
way
for
it
a
is.
year.
If you're running a calculation, so you always have money in the bank, that's not the right way to do it.
Right, you're
Um,
never gonna
So,
you're never gonna get it right anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
when you came on, I think we were doing like 75 and you ran some numbers and we upped it and then we
Yeah.
got it up to 140. I mean, I think we're doing a decent job.
I think we're doing an extremely good job, and we're chasing a moving target all the time.
Yeah.
Just because we are. I mean, you just don't,
You can't predict.
you can't predict, you're just guessing
Especially with
about
these
this
longer
stuff. and
lead
you're
times.
Guessing, for bridges and stuff, you're
Oh.
guessing 30, 40, 50 years out. And for trucks, it's, is something gonna last 20 years or 15 years?
Right.
That's a big difference.
It is a big difference.
And that's the sad reality of, this new bridge that they were to put in, or this bridge that's out here. What are they saying for a lifespan? And it's probably a 50-year bridge. And you go up to Greendale and you look back when they did stuff and they didn't have engineers on everything and they didn't have, the bridge cost in Greendale Brook was done in 1938,
The current one.
the current bridge.
Is that the one that we went and looked
Oh, yeah.
at?
It's only
Uh,
90
The
years.
Brook-
The
yeah,
first-
yeah, the
Oh,
first-
no, that was the next one up.
Okay,
That
yeah,
needs a
yeah.
little
You've got
bit.
gold
But
blocks
those
on
three
next
bridges
Yeah.
up through there were done in the CC era,
Yeah,
and concrete was better,
Yeah,
workmanship or something was better. That bridge is, and the engineer that we have had there, looking at the I-beams and stuff on that bridge is like, put some money into this bridge and keep it in good shape, because this is a long span and the I-beams are still in good shape. But that bridge was done in 1938, so, when I say to you, the truck doesn't last like it used to, I'm not being a smart ass, I'm just saying stuff just
Yeah, of
doesn't
course.
seem to last
we
like
see
that.
that with our
Right.
cars, unfortunately, yeah.
And this and that and the other thing, but, all in all, I think we've done a reasonable.
Yeah, right. Can I just ask for some clarity here, because equipment reserve fund, did we say 140 into that or 150?
I think we agreed on 150.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
But I was hearing 140 being
And-
bandied about,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, we went through this kind of quick, so any you three got questions, I mean, realize it's your first one here.
Yeah, no, and it's time to.
Pretty clear to me.
I mean,
I have a question just about the budget process in general, and that is, what we've done here with the highway fund, with the highway expenses is, we've looked at what we gave it before and your estimate of what's going to be needed for next year, and we raised some and lowered some and left most of them the same. In general, when we're looking at the budget, should we be thinking about, an across the board 3% increase that averages? Should we be looking at, no, we really have to cut money, so we ought to be really skinflint about these things? Or are we, I guess I don't understand. I don't have a sense of what our philosophy should be here. What we've just done with Jeff makes good sense to me, but is that the way we're going to approach all the budget areas?
well, usually what we do is we'll go through this, we'll have Tuesday night and Wednesday night to do the fire department and the general fund. Then the following week, when we meet on Wednesday night, because we got a selectmen's meeting on Tuesday night, we'll have all new paperwork and we'll have some total numbers.
Mhm.
And we'll be able to compare them with last year and year before and see where we're at. And before we get too excited about raises and everything, we will have to pull back. Like if we do the 5-year loan for the thing, we'll have to pull back that 4,000 whatever dollars it's going to be, roughly 4,500. And then
But that won't come out of highway.
no, I'm talking the whole thing in general.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, remember
And
back, that
some,
won't come in on
we
the
have
highway.
all,
No,
we're
right.
at first cut here,
Yeah,
and we're gonna, Kim's gonna total this stuff up, and we're gonna see, is our budget, is it increased or decreased from last year, and how much? And then, we think about what the state rates, what we think they're gonna be, and some years we feel pretty good, and we can sneak a little bit more into reserve funds. But other years, when the taxes are gonna go way up, and we're trying to squeeze things really tight. So that's at sort of the second order. So the first is to just sort of block in the big
Fill in the
numbers,
squares.
and then we're gonna refine it as we
Yep.
go with those other considerations
Yep.
that you
Okay.
talked about.
And then we go
So
back,
that's how
and then
the
we go
process-
back and tweak the numbers as needed. is what you're saying.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
If we're, way out of whack, if we
We
end
need
up
to cut.
with a 10 or 12% increase, then we get serious about with the sharp pencil.
Yeah,
The other thing we'll do is when it'll probably be next Wednesday, we'll all have new packets. Won't be any scribble on them.
right.
When you get your new packet, you hand your old packet in so people don't get it mixed up. We've learned that the hard way.
I do date them now, so you.
Yeah.
So
That's
if
great.
you abscond with one, you can. So are you thinking it's just tonight and tomorrow night, Wednesday this week, not Thursday?
Yeah, it's Thursday.
And Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday?
Yeah, and Thursday.
Yeah, because I got an idea that tomorrow night they'll try to get off track, but might have our hands full with the fire department.
Okay, so we've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week. We've got Tuesday and Wednesday next week.
Tuesday's regular selectmen's meeting.
Yeah,
Wednesday and Thursday.
Wednesday and Thursday.
Wednesday and Thursday.
At 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try to get a rough draft going to bring you tomorrow night on the morning, and then it'll be just rough. And then you can decide what other articles you want,
Yeah,
if I missed anything. I'll have to know what
You have all the appropriation requests and stuff.
I have
in.
everything and I should have, the one I'm missing right now is, I'm just missing one local, one internal.
Mhm.
And, I think they'll have it for me by Thursday. So,
And then the other thing, I think Jim knows it, but the state is on another curveball and a mandate. They are mandating that, what, 5-6 years?
every 6 years, you have to.
Do another total townwide reappraisal.
Oh my God.
Every what?
Every 6 years we have to be reappraised.
Which actually
was
makes
changing.
sense. I mean, it ought to be.
Yeah.
No,
20 is
not
good.
really. Not really,
Yeah.
because they give us $6.50 per
Yeah.
parcel in town.
6,100 roughly into maintain the grand list comes into us from the state.
Mhm.
But we also spend that on the mapping system and this software and that software, so it's pretty much a wash.
Mhm.
The reappraisal fund right now is at about $6,800.
Mhm.
And it cost us roughly 78,000.
So we need to start putting money into it, is what we're looking at.
See, another mandate.
Well, and you
So
know,
10,000 a year is what we have
Greg
to set
asked for
aside.
15, because again, you're gonna have to make a commitment in 5 years. Nemrick told me that they're already booked out for reassessments to 2031. They're already booked. So I'm assuming that the one we currently have now will also be in a similar situation, so you're gonna need,
They're booked out to 2031.
yes.
So, but if we did our reappraisal in 25, we 2033, so we can still get in line with them, right?
31.
31.
6 years.
5 to 6 years.
Yeah, but we have 8 years for reappraisal.
I just
No,
got
No,
six.
no, 6.
Oh, it's 6?
It's 6 years.
Oh my God.
And then they gotta
Well,
find a
the other thing-
reappraisal outfit that'll
Right.
do it.
the other thing is they're not gonna not take your money, and the way that this thing with mandating these appraisals, in my opinion, is crazy because the state sends down a tax rate every year. And you don't know what the tax rate's gonna be till they send it to you. But, and I'm just using round numbers, but they want $2 million from the town of Weston. If our appraisal rate is too low, they raise the percentage on that to come up with the $2 million, right?
Yeah,
So why are you mandating a reappraisal when you just slide the scale up here if you need to get the $2 million? And I think if somebody was keeping up with the appraisals in Weston, our own appraisers would be jimmying up our rates a little bit and not waiting until we get a hit like we just had. And we hire somebody to help us with that. And I don't know that we've had a tax increase in the last X amount of years, which we probably should have, and then we all wouldn't have been shocked with a new one. But
I mean, an appraisal increase,
yeah,
just just across the board with inflation.
well,
But
we
the CLA is
all, I mean,
supposed
we
to
all
take care of
knew,
that.
we all knew what was happening with property values around the state of
Doubling.
Vermont.
Mhm.
And we hadn't received a tax increase from our listers,
Appraisal.
appraised value from our listers, right? And we're hiring somebody to help the listers with that. But I do know the way the last rule was written is, because Timoth went 15 years without having an appraisal. As long as you were looking for an appraiser, because again, you're gonna come into the same thing that you can't hire anybody because they're 5 or 8 years out to do an appraisal.
Mhm.
But Timoth was looking, so what happened in Timoth was, Timoth had the highest tax rate per 100 in the state of Vermont and the lowest appraisal, right? But the state still came, with those two numbers met on the grid, they still came up with the money they needed to collect from Timoth.
Gotcha.
So to mandate an appraisal every 6 years is a little, because they just slide the number.
And if we can't get an appraiser,
They'll still take your money at the end of the year
you
rather
bet
than.
they will. They're not gonna,
If you
Yeah,
say we
we're
didn't-
not gonna get fined.
It's gonna be hard to find a good appraisal outfit.
Yeah.
Well, we probably ought to get on it, right?
Well, that's one of the things that we should have Greg or Lister in here to kind of discuss it with them. And I think Brian's got a couple questions on appraising and stuff, so
We just gotta make sure we do it a different way next year. I mean, not next year, in 6 years. Oh my
5
God,
years.
not next year.
5 years.
5 years. Ooh.
Different
Countdown
way.
is on.
When you, in what
Crazy.
sense?
In the sense that I think that the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing. I mean, I think as I sat here on the Board of Civil Authority and listened to the communication, it was very clear to me that I don't think our listers had a really, in a way, I don't think I'm not putting any blame on them at all, but I don't think they had a great understanding of what the company, I'm sorry, I forget what the company's name was, whatever that was doing it, and I just feel like that communication there
Yeah,
did
yeah, yeah.
not flow, right?
I was
agree.
not impressed.
It was not impressive on
Yeah.
any level, and then
Yeah.
again, I'm not blaming anyone, I'm just saying we gotta do it differently.
Yeah.
And
And maybe have some expectation management from us to write letters to people to say, hey, listen, we're gonna do a reappraisal. And whether it's in the town report or we just post it somewhere, or spend the money to send a letter to everybody. These appraisals are, they're not, this is a fair market appraisal, and it's gonna be our best guess at what your house would, or your property, or whatever it is, would sell for, and that's the bogey, because a lot of people say, oh my God, I went up 60%, well.
Put your house up for sale tomorrow and see what happens.
Yeah, and the person who yelled loudest about it
Right
sold
on.
his house for
Money on.
$100,000 more than the appraisal.
Yeah.
So
I think he's long dead, and Jeff might be the only one remembering. Mark Robbins, he was on the board of listers. If you sold your house for 600,000, that's what he put you in the book for. And that was the year they did it so much, they appealed it to the state. We ended up sending the second tax bill out that year.
yeah,
It sounds like fun.
So the person who bought the
That's
house
not
had
too
that
bad.
appraisal on it. You
Yeah.
mean, yeah, right.
But on the other token, if you buy a house that's appraised for $1 million and it's not your son or your mother-in-law, you buy it for 900,000, there's a law in the state that the town has to value is, you can go to the town and they have to hold that number for 2 years of 900,000.
Oh,
So if you buy a house under
for less than the
in
appraised value.
fair circumstances, not a distress sale, I would say that, not a son to
yeah, right.
mom and mom to
Yeah.
son. You buy it in fair market value and it's less than the town has appraised for, you can go to the town and say, look, here's the law, here's the thing, and you can get it dropped as well, but most of these people, like Jim said, are putting their house on the market and getting more than, they were kicking and screaming about the appraisal, but when they sold it more than the appraised value, so I didn't like mine either. You know what I mean, but,
Yeah.
Jeff, thanks for your time tonight.
Jeff. Let's do this again tomorrow, you guys.
yeah. I'm ready to go into
you don't need.
town general tomorrow night.
That's what we're doing,
I
right?
know we're in the
Well,
fire
we-
department.
fire
right?
Fire department first.
Okay, yeah.
And the fire department already gave us something, right?
They have given us what you guys, I sent in all.
You sent it out a while ago, right?
But they haven't given me anything.
Okay.
Other than that, have they given you?
No, what was explained to me is the difference between their revenues and their expenses is what they might need from the town, and that was $110,000. So I put that in, the appropriation request, but it could also mean that they might need put that again, and that goes into a different category, but I just put it in the appropriations for now, and they're to explain it tomorrow.
Okay,
That's
Break
all
it
I
down
can figure
for
out.
us.
and
I also
I
asked,
asked them for a balance sheet.
Correct.
Did they,
They may bring it tomorrow, but I have not received it.
yeah, who knows, yeah.
I did ask for investments and they did confirm, the treasurer confirmed that
Take it
the
easy.
money that they were gifted for the purchase of whatever
Yeah.
land has been put into an investment
And so they still have that. And,
Is the interest on that staying with it, or are they rolling it into their general?
that I don't know, he's.
Yeah, that's the big question.
He will
Rolling
be
into
here
their
tomorrow
general fund.
night.
No, they're
You can
rolling
ask.
it into general fund and spending it.
That's what I'm saying, right? That's what you're asking, right? I
Yeah.
understand.
He'll be here tomorrow and you can ask him.
guys-
I also asked the planning commission to come and just explain their budget because it was, much more than the usual. And I told Denny about it, but, so Jeff Brown needs to know what time you want him, so.
Do you wanna do them first? Right,
Can you call him and find out how much time he
so we
needs?
can,
And if it's, like 15 minutes, why don't we get him done before the fire department, rather?
You guys don't need me till next Tuesday night, is that
Yeah,
Yeah.
where we're at? Okay, next Tuesday night, and then we'll do the regular, and then Wednesday night, we'll go over the highway again.
yeah,
Is that what
revisit it. We should be in shape to do that, yeah.
Okay, I mean ballpark numbers. All right, have a good night.
bye,
Yeah,
Josh,
Jeff.
Good luck with the road.
thank you,
Thanks.
Yeah,
have a great night.
yeah.
You guys, got any more questions?
No, that was very
I
informative.
don't. Pretty much what I expected tonight. In terms of how it went, yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of towns cut everything right to the bare bone, and then halfway through the year, they're in trouble borrowing money and have special meetings and stuff, and it makes it so much easier to operate when you've got enough to work with.
Yeah.
As you see this summer, we'd have had a meeting for the excavator, we'd have had a meeting for the mowing machine, and then we'd have probably had a meeting for the land and might have lost it due to the time it would take, and then next week, Tuesday night, we'll have to talk a little bit about figuring out what we want to do with the land, and then find a decent engineer who can.
Yeah, do a site, some plans, some.
I'll see an engineer on the 20th. I can ask them if they're interested. They do a lot of stuff around.
Do you want me to move that 60,000 to the equipment reserve fund? Right, good night.
Thanks, Ken.
You're welcome.
Was that a yes? Did you
Yeah.
nod? Okay,
Good, sorry.
that's all right.
I understood. It was sign language.
I see,
We'll
got
see
it,
you
got it.
tomorrow.
Kim, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me know how that number works, okay?
Let
The
me
code,
know.
your code,
Oh,
your
right,
insurance code.
yeah,
Thanks.
you're welcome.
Thanks for taking the time.
And I haven't been getting any phone calls on roads, what money you folks have.
Roads?
And I think I discussed it with Brian, but that car that was off the road up there, I think the guy just fell asleep or was on his phone, because there's no skid marks or anything, it's just a straight shot.
Yeah, I didn't talk to him at all. I didn't get the opportunity, but
So,
guys have
so
the
he fell asleep
information
and
so
kept
we
going
can-
straight.
We have a
instead of
license
turning
plate.
around. Yeah.
and I saw your email and we
Yeah.
had sent it over to the WC,
Howie.
to Howie, yes.
Yeah,
And he had Al go and take pictures and stuff. So we have a picture of the license plate and stuff. They don't directly have the insurance information from what I can tell,
mhm.
but it seemed like, from what I heard, I think I heard this from Al, I think that the guy just wasn't, he hadn't done much except hit a post and he wasn't too concerned.
Yeah,
And I don't think he did any damage to us because there's really nothing left there because it was,
yeah, I
whatever
just
car
saw
was
the
there
post.
last year hit, I think.
The dry hydrant, but
thank
that
you.
hasn't been working, so.
Right, and that wasn't replaced to the best of my knowledge, no, right?
I don't believe so.
No, I don't think
It
so.
just is. It's easy to go out and say, okay, well, we'll do that post, and all of a sudden $500 later, you. And then it's,
Yeah, that's fair too, yeah. Someday we'll talk about flashing
Yeah.
signs,
yeah,
Not tonight.
well,
not tonight.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.